Y'all a fan of harems? Okay, hold on. Put away your pitchforks. Just hear me out, okay? Look, if you saw the title of the video, you probably have some questions. I'd be surprised if you didn't. But let me just start off by saying that yes, there is a manga about a man attempting to juggle 100 girlfriends at the same time, and yes, it's possibly the greatest manga I have ever read. And I've read a couple. Not as much as you would think, but a couple. Welcome to the world of the 100 girlfriends who really love you. The naive harem rom-com, extreme emphasis on the calm part with zero losing heroines. And this is really the key here. Everyone is chill with each other. Sometimes you get conflicts here and there, but it's usually resolved within a couple of chapters. It also leans into every trope under the sun in order to subvert the genre. We've got swimsuits. We've got maids. We've got characters that look incredibly childish but are actually of legal age. It's all here. The series has been steadily published since December of 2019 and recently secured an anime adaptation that's airing as we speak. Today, as the title suggests, we're gonna rank all 25 girlfriends that have currently debuted, and I'm gonna shed some insight as to why I think this manga is a well-written piece of art, as well as one of the most degenerate things I have ever read. Believe me, things are gonna get really weird. The 100 girlfriends who really, you know what? I'm gonna shorten it. 100 girlfriends centers around Rentarou
Rentarou.
Rentarou? What? No. Rentarou Aijo, a 15-year-old that's had a rough go of things romantically. He's just recently hit 100 rejections despite being a totally normal and sincere guy. While praying at a local shrine to, quote, score a girlfriend, a god of love appears and reveals to him his ultimate destiny. By the end of high school, Rentarou will meet 100 soulmates. The reason? The love god accidentally added 2 zeros when doing Rentarou's paperwork because Castle in the Sky was on cable. So what's the big deal? He could just pick one and ignore the rest. Not so fast, bucko. Because as it turns out, being a soulmate is real shit. If Rentarou rejects any of these soulmates, they'll receive nothing but bad luck and ultimately die. Obviously contrived, but who cares? A big reason why I love this manga so much is how obvious the writing is. Every twist or turn in the story is just blatant in its purpose. There are multiple panels or even entire chapters that lean into meta fourth wall breaks for comedic effect. Before we get into rankings, let's talk more about Rentarou. Despite being the man at the center of all that pussy... Sorry, I forgot to mention that in order to keep me in line, I've recruited my friend Sabio here to be my designated bonker. Anytime I get a little rowdy, horny, or sus, he's gonna hit me with his hammer. Although, I can't imagine it'll happen too often. As I was saying, the key to Rentarou's success in this harem is that he works for it. From the beginning, he goes above and beyond to prove his love, sometimes beyond the laws of nature and physics and the manga itself. He's also completely transparent and unapologetically wholesome. I mean, who doesn't love a man who nearly fills 2 whole pages with compliments about his girlfriends off the top of his head? In other words, he's the Riz God and my dream SO. We'll be talking more about Rentarou and his various interactions with his eventual harem. But for now, the stage is set. Let's meet the girlfriends and not call too much attention to the fact that a white guy in his 20s is ranking a bunch of teenage girls. This is our handy dandy, totally not edited tier list. See, look at me, I'm touching it with my hands. It's so real and 3-dimensional. Just so this video isn't a feature-length film, I'm gonna limit myself to 2 minutes per girlfriend. It's gonna be tough, but we're gonna get through it. That's what she said. Now I'm gonna be ranking them on personality for the most part. Fair. I'm also gonna be spoiling all of the 25 girlfriends currently introduced in the manga, but I'm not gonna be touching a lot of the plots in between, which, to be honest, is the meat of this manga. If you find the premise humorous or any of these characters interesting, I highly recommend checking out the anime or manga. It's worth your time, especially if you want to see lewd artwork done multiple times as a bit. One final note, I know that I'm essentially taking a massive dump on the whole no losing heroines premise by picking losers and winners. This wasn't really something I had considered until, right now when I'm editing. I can only ask forgiveness from the fans and especially Rentarou. I'm sorry. But I spent way too much time on this project to turn back now, so... The manga executes its premise almost immediately with the simultaneous introduction of the first two girlfriends, Hanazono Hakari and Inda Karane. Hakari is one of the more normal girls in the family. She's also incredibly hot and horny. From the moment we meet her, she's always coming up with schemes to get Rentarou's affection, from kissing to groping, sometimes very aggressively. She's the only one to ask for a breakup after they've gotten together, which I'll explain later, and she's the source of a lot of plot developments in general. There's not a whole lot I want to say about her or her quirks. She kinda just remains a solid presence throughout the rest of the manga. I don't really have any gripes with her as a character either. Easy B tier. Karane is the second of the initial two girlfriends, and she's also the ultimate tsundere. Okay, real quick, for those of you who are not degenerate weebs like myself, tsundere essentially means people with a harsh and standoffy outer shell, concealing their true emotions underneath. It's a very common trope in Japanese media, but Karane takes it to a whole new level. It's not like anything is her trademark. She says it for almost everything. Some people find it annoying, others charming. I could take it or leave it. She herself found it annoying at one point and gave up her tsundere-ness to everyone's disappointment. Initially, Karane refuses to turn back, but after Rentarou, the Chad that he is, convinces Karane that her tsundere-ness is part of the reason he fell in love with her, she agrees. One tsundere spirit bomb later, and she's back to normal. She's strong, she's combative, and unlike Hakari, notably not well endowed. Come on, man. They made jokes about it in the manga. There's also a very interesting subplot between Hakari and Karane, as multiple times in the manga, the two of them express subconscious romantic interest with each other. Just worth pointing out. I'm gonna put Karane in B tier, but I'm putting her below Hakari because of, well, let's just move on. 100 Girlfriends wastes no time, introducing the third girlfriend just 2 chapters later. Shizuka is a quiet and small-figured 15-year-old who communicates through books. Her name literally means quiet. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I've been dabbling a little in Japanese. It's not a big deal, but it's cool, but Rentarou instantly bonds with Shizuka over her favorite books, but he quickly recognizes the limitations of pointing to text in order to speak. So, in an incredibly kind gesture, he copies the entirety of her favorite book onto a text document so that she can communicate via text-to-speech, essentially giving her a voice. King shit. Shizuka is one of the only girlfriends to have a somewhat sad backstory, although we don't exactly know why she doesn't use her voice. The only time we really see her use it extensively is in chapter 38, in which she sings so cutely that everyone dies. She even laughs via the app, which is very cute. That wasn't even me being horny. Whatever. I'm placing her in B tier above Hakari because I think memorizing entire books is very impressive. Don't worry, we'll have girlfriends above B tier soon. You're as cold as ice! Nano is a capital N nerd. Some might even say that she's an AI. Get it? Because her name is literally AI. Okay, I'll move on. She places at the top of her class. She knows hundreds of digits of pi, and she never does anything fun as it produces no value. It's very clear that she doesn't have a lot of friends, and she spends all of her time trying to be as efficient as possible. When working with Rentarou on a class science experiment, rather than looking in the microscope and drawing what she sees, bleh, she just copies what the textbook looks like, saying that, quote, reproducing others' results is a waste of time. All this before Rentarou accidentally cuts himself, causing Nano to suck on his finger. Wait, huh? Oh, it's for medical reasons, we're good. The soulmate Zing gets to her though, and she's unable to reconcile her negative feelings towards companionship in general with her very real and specific feelings towards Rentarou. To prove that dating is worth it, Rentarou takes Nano on a date, something he has never done before but somehow nails on the first try. The date is, in Nano's eyes, incredibly confusing. Everything fun is illogical to her, and at the end of the day, the date feels meaningless to her until Rentarou starts to burn the pictures they took on his instant camera, causing her to have a very emotional reaction. She confesses her love once again, and happy ending. I'm still gonna place her in B tier, but she gets the highest placement thus far. She's my fellow confused neurodivergent queen. This is the first girlfriend that really leans into the absurdity of the world. Kusuri is a drug lord. No, not like that. Although she does explicitly mention trying meth, Kusuri loves making drugs, or medicine. Her name literally means medicine, so it all checks out. These medicines are highly specific and humorous. At the first meeting, she turns Rentarou into a magnet through the power of drugs. She's given people bunny ears, prehensile hair, infrared vision, and turned people into babies multiple times. But the weirdest part is her physical form. No, I'm serious. At some point, Kusuri tried to defy death itself, but her drug didn't quite work. Her body, and her mind, reverted to that of a child. So while she looks like a child, she's really 18. Let me be clear, it is weird that she looks like a child, but let me explain. She has what she calls a negation drug that reverses any effects her other drugs might have, but it also temporarily reverses her immortality drug mishap, causing her to grow back up to her, quote, adult form. And that form is really She's the first girlfriend to make it into A tier. Her drugs are the source of a lot of conflicts, and they can be used to get the gang out of and into a lot of situations. In summary, she's very crucial to the plot. Also, she's closest to making catgirls a real thing, so... Okay, hold on. Before I reveal this next girlfriend, I need y'all to understand something that's very important. This manga is, above all else, a comedy. It's making fun of tropes present in manga, anime, and Japanese culture in general. That being said, this next one is wild. This girlfriend is also the first one not shown in the advertising for the anime, so we're really entering spoiler territory. There's a good reason why. The first major story arc comes at the end of chapter 14 when Hakari unexpectedly asks Rentarou to break up with her. We quickly learn that her unseen and incredibly wealthy mother found out about Rentarou's quintessential quintuplets. Shit, that's the wrong manga. In her eyes, Rentarou is a lowly, teenaged vermin whom she can exterminate whenever she wishes. Rentarou is undeterred and attempts to break her out of her family mansion. After getting caught, Rentarou finds himself face to face with Hakari's mother when all of a sudden, it's MILF time, baby. That's right, we got multiple generations of girlfriends in here, and oh my god, mommy! Sorry about that, y'all. I needed to get something out. So, Hahari, not to be confused with her similarly named daughter, Hakari, is a 29-year-old woman with wealth beyond belief. When she was 13, she bribed medical staff to be artificially inseminated with her terminally ill middle school lover's Somehow, against all odds, Rentarou convinces Hahari to join the family, even getting approval from the dead middle school lover just to cover every base. She loves being motherly, although it's quickly revealed that she can be just as perverted as her daughter. Which, I mean... As I said, she's rich beyond belief. In order to hang out with Rentarou more, she buys his school. Having a rich girlfriend also allows for a lot of plot conveniences, like when they do fan service chapters, or need to travel to various locations, or buy a bunch of maid outfits for everyone. It's perfect. There's no doubt that a 29-year-old dating a 15-year-old is weird, but I'm still placing her in A tier below Kusuri because I think she's perfect in every other way. And I mean every way. It's a bittersweet symphony. From this point on, every new girlfriend has some distinct quirk or special ability. Some are more interesting than others, as you'll see. Kurumi likes food. A lot. Rentarou describes her as a big, hungry tummy GF. When Kurumi is hungry, she gets visibly annoyed and snappy. When she eats, she's the polar opposite, but because she has a, quote, Kirby-like metabolism, she's pretty much always hungry, which means she's pretty much always at least a little irritated. It certainly doesn't help that her mind always wanders towards food. Whenever she looks or hears something, she often associates it to food in some way, so she typically deprives her senses as much as possible. So naturally, Rentarou's method of getting Kurumi on board is to give her the exact food she's craving for by making it himself. God damn, he can cook too? He's really, Kurumi admittedly doesn't have a lot going on. I meant in terms of plot. There's a good mini food festival arc immediately following her introduction that's fun to read, but other than a admittedly very funny Attack on Titan reference, she's largely inconsequential to the day-to-day conflict. I'm placing her at the bottom of B tier. She's a utility player, but only really for a specific area. I'm hesitant to put her at the top of C only because I think she has promise, although I'm not really sure how much more characterization we'll get with the steadily increasing number of girlfriends. Also, as a diabetic, I'm really jealous of her ability to eat anything she wants without consequence. Mei is the head Hanazono family maid. She's been around for multiple chapters, but it's not until chapter 30 that she becomes a soulmate. The reason? Mei never opens her eyes, or rather, physically can't because she's had them closed for too long. This is a key mechanic of this manga. In order to confirm a soulmate, Rentarou needs to make eye contact with the other party, which causes a zing. This mechanic comes into play multiple times, as we'll later see. After several attempts to open Mei's eyes, Rentarou manages to bait her by accidentally getting her to laugh at her own master. It's revealed that she has rainbow eyes, though we've never actually seen them officially colored yet. Oh, I guess we have? Mei is the epitome of an obedient maid. Being asked to do something by Hahari is like a buff for her. She goes to great lengths to please her master. She is offered to kill herself to fulfill requests multiple times, which will never not be funny. And despite never opening her eyes, she can still sense everything happening around her like Daredevil. She can even drive, for God's sake. But most importantly, she has the rarely seen but highly coveted character development. Rentarou's first date with Mei is spent trying to get her to have any sense of freedom. She spent her whole life serving the Hanazono family, and while she states that she enjoys it, she's left no room for her own feelings. All Mei wants to do is be ordered around by Rentarou. He could always ask for, but he doesn't because he's a wholesome and sincere teenager with little to no lust on his mind. See? He eventually gets her fully on board by totally mind gaming her, something every boyfriend should do on their first date. I mean, peak dating is offering to kill yourself to please them, right? Mei is one of the most interesting characters, and I really wish they tapped into her journey of becoming her own person more and more. But given the overall tone of the manga, I'm fine with what she's been given. Again, that was in terms of plot. Anyway, I'm putting her at the bottom of A tier, below Hahari, because I think that's what she would want. Oh my lord. That one's actually kind of thematic. Iku is, in short, an unrelenting masochist. She trains far beyond what is considered normal and healthy because she's determined to try her best. Every time she's in pain, her dialogue has heart emojis, which... I mean, it happens so goddamn much. I love her. She's also incredibly cute, and if she wasn't 16... I'm sorry, y'all. I lost my train of thought there. Rentarou really steps up his game here to get Iku on the squad, going so far as to fake a rejection to her confession just so she can experience the pain of heartbreak and enjoy it. If this wasn't a rom-com, then that move would just be absolutely unhinged. But because it's Rentarou, it works perfectly. He's just built different. It's an easy A tier. I'm only putting her below Kusuri because Kusuri's drugs are the only reason half of this manga exists in the first place. As her name suggests, Mimi's quirk is narcissism. So fun. She loves all things beauty, specifically hers, and if she could, she'd date herself. This isn't a joke, by the way. She literally says this within 5 seconds of meeting Rentarou. Also, does that make her bi? I'm getting sidetracked. Mimi almost immediately gives Rentarou a makeover, which, in all honesty, makes him look really cute. I barely even notice it anymore, to be honest. Mimi also has past beef with one of the other girlfriends, Nano. Wait, Nano? What? The robot? Okay, so apparently the two of them were in a middle school beauty contest, but Nano won and gave her the cold shoulder. This is solved very quickly, leaving Mimi with very little to do plot-wise. She goes from insufferable to tolerable, but slightly annoying. Mimi gets the first C-tier placement for that reason. Not a whole lot to say here. Meme, I'm sorry, I have strong word association there. Meme is another shy girl, desperate to be a background character. She even appears as one in the first episode of the anime. She hides her eyes behind her bangs, which she's done since she was a baby. Rentarou has only seen her eyes once in order to trigger the zing, but not even the audience knows what they look like. She also canonically hides her boob size, which, if that's what hiding looks like, then... Meme also can disappear in an instant when flustered or embarrassed, leaving behind stuffed animals she knitted herself as a form of misdirection. It's almost supernatural how fast she is. Just a simple whoosh, and she's gone. Meme and Mimi have a very interesting storyline together involving a school reporter determined to take a picture of the elusive Meme. Mimi ends up helping Meme's vanishing act by becoming the misdirection. It's a winning combo and probably the best short arc either of them get. She's bottom of B tier in my opinion. I kinda like the shy thing though. Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. One of the best things about 100 Girlfriends is that there is a girlfriend for everyone. Everyone's gonna have different opinions about which one's the best, and at the end of the day, my rankings are subjective. That being said, Chio happens to be 12 years old and Rentarou's cousin. Oh no. Obviously you have to remember that Rentarou is 15, but you know what? Who am I kidding? Why am I trying to justify this? Her quirk isn't super interesting either. She gets angry and growls when things aren't proper or tidy, and when her glasses leave her face for whatever reason, she becomes anxious and begins to cry uncontrollably, which makes her seem like she's 5 or 6, not 12. I mean, she gets a little better as time goes on, and the author really tries to sell this character, but there's not a lot of positives here. 12 years old, strike 1. Cousin, strike 2. But her quirk? That's strike 3. It's D tier for her. I mean, she literally dresses up as a cop in one chapter. I mean, what a I can't get involved. Let's move on.
Good.
She was an American girl.
The name Yamato Nadeshiko, sorry about my pronunciation, is a Japanese term meaning the personification of an idealized Japanese woman. So, naturally, it makes sense for this next girlfriend to be, "Howdy, y'all Japanese youngins. I came here all the way from the heart of the heartland, back in the US of A. Y'all can go ahead and call me Miss Natty, you hear?" Fuck yes. Fuck yes. This is my type of girl. Now, despite her introduction, clothes, and use of totally authentic American slang, Miss Natty is not American. I know, incredibly shocking. She's just pretending to be one. That's what we like to call a reverse weeaboo, or a marabou. She speaks almost entirely in what sounds like cowboy slang, despite not knowing English whatsoever. As a quick aside, I have to give massive credit to the team at Zoonscans for doing a great job translating the spirit of Miss Natty's dialogue rather than going completely literal. As you can see, the difference between a literal translation and Zoon's artistic interpretation is massive. Although, admittedly, seeing Miss Natty say, "I fuck you and fuck you, the night fuck you is happy birthday," is incredibly entertaining.
You gotta move on, dude.
Sorry. Back to Natty. She is obsessed with all things America after discovering a VHS of American children expressing their God-given rights, aka eating food on the couch. Her intense love of America got her kicked out of her traditional Japanese family, and she's been pretending to be American ever since. She's also unbelievably hot. I just love everything about her, to be honest. The way she speaks, the way she dresses. She's my age too, so it'd be perfect. I'm putting her in S tier, and you can't stop me no matter how many times you bonk me. Yasashiki Yamame essentially means gentle mountain woman. So, naturally, you would expect someone who's tall, peace-loving, maybe has a soft touch. But instead, actually that's exactly what you get. She's tall, she's wholesome, and honestly, I want her to lift me up like Simba. I said what I said. Yamame is incredibly precious about all life, going so far as to plant weeds in a separate garden, use stilts to not step on plants, and let butterflies live on her hair. She's basically a Disney princess, or as Rentarou suggests, Nausicaa, which is the wrong Ghibli reference and causes one of the funniest fourth wall breaks in the series. She also speaks with a very country accent and ends all of her sentences with the cutest phrase, "Ai." Yamame is incredibly afraid of fire. After Rentarou saves her from a fire caused by the vice principal's hair, she's a whole separate character, don't worry about it. Yamame confesses her love in the cutest way possible. Nope, seriously, just listen. Really? I like you. Oh my god! As you can probably tell, my favorite aspect of Yamame is her unwavering wholesomeness. Her catchphrase, "Are living things too?" which she says for almost everything, showcases this to a T. A drop of purity in an endless sea of horniness really makes this character shine. This is best shown in chapter 78, in which Hakari attempts to teach Yamame how to leverage her assets. They attempt to take photos in seductive poses, but she's just too damn wholesome. Even her squirrel does a better job. When Hakari coaches her on how to act risque in person, Rentarou simply thinks she's sick. But after Yamame exposes her panties in order to protect Hakari from a wardrobe malfunction, Rentarou's excitement is heard through the walls and ground. In the end, Hakari realizes that the appeal of Yamame is her wholesomeness, and the two become closer as fellow girlfriends. Literally. Her personality is so my shit that I have to put her in S tier above Natty. These are my goats, and I won't hear any slander. I believe in tall girl supremacy. I want them real thick and juicy, so find that juicy double. Momiji is the king of touch. Dude, I meant to say touch. She's the king of touch. Don't look at this. Momiji has a long-time love of touching soft things, like a woman's body. No, wait, I swear I'm not making this up. Despite her best intentions of giving massages to, quote, make sure these bodies become as wonderfully soft as they can, she always looks perverted when she does it, as shown by the constant stream of grope, 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 grope sound effects. She also gives massages so good that no one remembers her name afterwards. If only. I just wanted a good massage, bro. Rentarou allows Momiji to give him a massage on his, quote, Astro Boy back, created because Rentarou just can't stop taking care of his girlfriends. My god, he's perfect. Afterwards, Momiji mentions needing more experience to become the best masseuse, and Rentarou's Astro Boy body was extremely valuable. So what does Rentarou do in order to stiffen up his back once more and get Momiji's favor? He goes to the person with the hardest job in the world, Nozawa Sensei, the illustrator of this very manga. There's a lot of fourth wall breaks in this manga, but this is the best one. He works as her assistant, which gives him the Astro Boy body Momiji so greatly desires. He even points out his contributions to her, And so, Momiji naturally joins the team, and the two of them rush to heal Nozawa-sensei's Astro Boy, or rather girl, body. Honestly, she doesn't get a lot to do in subsequent chapters, otherwise I'd put her higher. As it stands, I'm putting her in B tier between Shizuka and Hakari. She does have utility though, and I would love to get a massage from her sometime.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
If you've been paying close enough attention, you might have recognized the family name there. That's right, it's time to meet Kusuri's grandmother. What? She's also a child? Look, yeah, I know, it's weird. She's actually 89. The lore is that when Kusuri was attempting to cheat death, she gave her grandmother a version of the immortality drug, which also made her revert to a child. But her version was even stronger, so even the negation drug doesn't work. So we won't be seeing Yaku's decrepit body anytime soon. 89, but in the body of an 8-year-old? Either way you slice it, it's weird. This Yoda-like creature doesn't understand any modern tech, not even cars. She also has a love for drugs like Kusuri, and was known for treating soldiers in World War II. She actually keeps a tight lip about her past, so there's honestly a non-zero chance she engaged in chemical warfare. But you know what, that's not important. What is important is that she says yes, yes instead of Kusuri's yep, yep, which shows class, baby. She's an interesting addition to the family, but it's kind of hard to ignore the age gap here. I mean, she's 81 years older than her own body. That's weird, guys. She herself mentions that she has way more life experience than Rentarou. Probably from making all of that mustard gas and anthrax. I'm sorry, I can't keep making this joke. That's fucked up. People died from this. In all honesty, it doesn't even seem like she totally accepts being Rentarou's girlfriend. She just seems bored and wants a group of people to hang out with. Anyway, she gets to be in C tier above me. I will say, they do a really good job of subverting the, oh, she looks like a child, but she's actually a bajillion years old, by making her actually act her age instead of young and incredibly horny. So at least there's that. Oh, also, when meeting all of the other girlfriends, all of them forget Yaku's name and call her Meth, which I guess is a much better joke in Japanese because her name is similar to the name for meth, but it's very funny to go to the next page and just see Meth in gigantic letters. Kishika is one of the more normal girlfriends, if there is such a thing in this manga. Rentarou first meets her after being harassed by a couple of guys on the street. She defends him with her kendo shinai. A shinai, by the way, is a type of sword made of bamboo and without a sharp edge, primarily used in practice and the martial art of kendo. And lo and behold, another zing. Kishika is incredibly formal and polite, making multiple references to following a, quote, knight's code. She chalks up her maturity to being the oldest of 6 siblings and being asked to help take care of them from a young age. But she has a secret. She wants to be babied. Yeah, I don't really understand it either. Apparently, because she had to spend so much time taking care of others, she never really got pampered herself. So, she takes a glove, attaches it to her kendo sword, and pats her own head with it. At the same time, she listens to modified recordings of her own voice that say things like, "It's going to be okay," and "My cute little Kishika." Naturally, when Rentarou finds her in this state, she wants to kill herself. So what does Rentarou do?
I don't know.
I wasn't asking you, it was rhetorical.
Then why did you ask?
I don't know, just be quiet, okay?
Don't tell me what to do.
Rentarou naturally offers to pamper Kishika, and she immediately mentally regresses to a baby, saying things like, "Daddy, I love you, Daddy. Stay with me always, and be my daddy. Will you please keep stroking me?" I've been saying this a lot, but she doesn't get a whole lot to do after her introduction. Her character is largely complete, although she is good at combat, which comes up once in a while. Since she's not really a standout, I'll put her in C tier above Yaku. Oh my... I haven't even said anything.
You said enough.
You're only supposed to do it after... Never mind. as I was saying, oh my god. Ashi, or Ako as she likes to be called, is a gairu. A gairu is a fashion subculture in Japan that has a lot of very specific things that I honestly don't have time to get into. But the summary is that they're super dolled up, frilly, and sometimes a little too close to blackface. Thankfully, Ako doesn't do the last thing. Ako's trademarks include her ever-present smile, except for that one time where she swapped bodies with Kurane, large amounts of accessories, and love for all cute things. Which is perfect, because she herself is probably the cutest one in the family. I mean, just her droopy eyes, bro, and her hair is just so perfect. Stop, I get it. It should also be noted that, unlike your stereotypical popular girl, Ako actually appears to be a decent person who hates gossip. She stopped hanging out with her old Gaidu friends because of this. Slay, girl. I can't believe I just said that. Her lingo must be rubbing off on me. Ako uses modern lingo at every moment. Dead ass, high key, for real, cringe, which is what I'm feeling at this exact moment. Whack, no cap, and everyone's favorite. Oh my god, that sends me.
To where?
You can't just steal jokes from the manga.
What are you talking about?
That's what Rentarou says every time.
Oh, I don't think I got that far.
What?
It seemed like a lot.
You've read One Piece multiple times.
Yeah, but that's One Piece. It's One Piece.
Okay. Anyway, I love her overall personality. That, combined with her incredible look, puts her at S tier. Also, I think I passed 2 minutes. You can't just bonk me for wasting time, that just wastes more. Have you ever met somebody that speaks in abstract terms all the time? Someone who never takes a side. Someone who never gives their opinion, to the point where you're not even sure they have opinions in the first place. You know, an annoying person. Well, here she is. Uto is what's called a chuni, which basically is the Japanese equivalent of 8th grader syndrome, where you feel like you're on top of the world and want to be seen as different from everyone else on the face of the earth. Rentarou meets her fishing in a puddle for, quote, mine own self. Oh, God. She's really into philosophy and fence sitting. She often says perhaps and perhaps not. She claims to be a wandering bard, doing everything from wearing a cloak and Robin Hood-esque cap, playing the ocarina, badly, and singing original songs, also badly. Look, there's nothing wrong with being cringe at 14. We all have our moments. I'm not excluded from this. It's just a little annoying because this is her entire personality. At first, Uto claims that she can't stay because of her wandering lifestyle and asks Rentarou to never forget her. But a gust of wind reveals that she's wearing the local junior high school uniform. When questioned by Rentarou, she remarks that she was referring to, quote, the form my soul yearns for. Others may find her cute, but I personally don't think she has a lot to offer. I'm putting her in C tier below Kishika and above Yaku. No bonks for me.
Your reliability.
Unfortunately, we get 2 annoying girlfriends back to back with the introduction of Hanazono's second maid, Mai. She was actually present a full 70 chapters ago, but no zings happened then because the two never made eye contact. You may have noticed that Mai and Mei have the same family name, but don't let that fool you. Despite Mai calling Mei her, quote, dear older sister every chance she can get, the two are not related. Their family names are spelled differently, which, to explain, is to go into depth into the Japanese language and how kanji works, and I don't have time for that. Mai is infatuated with Mei, and because of this, hates Rentarou with all her guts. Mai's quirk, other than being highly protective of Mei, is that she's clumsy. She slips and falls 5 times in the first 12 pages. Of course, Mai eventually admits that she's in love with Rentarou, but in a tsundere fashion, masks her reason for joining as a reason to keep an eye on her dear sister. She's basically a siscon, which, for those who don't know, is someone who has a strong but often overprotective and sometimes outright obsessive relationship with their sister, even though they're not actually related. Because her trait is being clumsy, there's actually very little she ends up contributing to the family. All that, combined with the fact that she's basically a budget tsundere, means that this character really doesn't have a lot to offer. I don't really like her, and I'm putting her in D tier. The only reason that she's above Chio is because she's 16 and not 12. This one's a fun one that also happens to have serious ethical implications, but we'll get to that. When we first meet Momoha, she's totally sloshed. As she introduces herself, we find out a lot of contradictory things about her. She's an ethics teacher at Rentarou's high school, but has both a crippling alcohol and gambling addiction. She lives in a tent next to the school garden where Yamame sometimes gives her fresh veggies. And this is gonna sound totally crazy, but I just love how brazenly oxymoronic she is.
Finally.
What do you mean finally?
You haven't said anything horny for 2 whole girlfriends now.
Huh. I guess I didn't.
I mean, it's good, and I'm glad you're making me point it out. Good job, Hunter. I'm so glad that you and I are... I'm not reading this.
No, just keep going.
No, it's like stupid.
No, keep going.
I would never say that.
I should point out that Momoha's name is particularly relevant when translated. Bono, not to be confused with the lead singer of U2, is a Japanese word that refers to a Buddhist concept of impurities or worldly desires, of which there are 108. Momoha, when spelled in kanji, also means 108. And in addition to all of this, she was introduced in chapter 108, which really just solidifies the idea that the writer, Nakamura-san, knows what he's doing. After talking with Rentarou for a while about her past and inability to escape her vices, honestly kind of dark for this series, but I appreciate it, Momoha confesses her feelings by offering to have sex. That wasn't because I was horny, that was because I was confused.
Oh, shit, my bad. Can't, undo it, though.
She's 27, drunk, and a teacher offering to have sex with a 15-year-old student on school grounds. If this wasn't a rom-com, I would have called the police. But Rentarou saves it by smartly rejecting her advances. It's only the next day when Rentarou and Yamame find that, despite being completely broke, Momoha purchased brand new tools for the gardening club. They broke the day before, don't worry about it. Here we get to see Momoha at her best. She explains that having someone that treats you with care and kindness is far more valuable than money, and that being poor isn't an excuse to forget your gratitude towards others. Truly pure of heart. Despite the incredibly obvious red flags, I really like her as a character, and because of that, I'm placing her at the bottom of A tier. If I had time, I'd talk about the really funny storyline that happens afterwards where everyone gets drunk, but not really because the big cheese shuts it down, but Rentarou manages to skirt the publishing company by making it incredibly clear that none of the minors have consumed alcohol.
Move on.
Fine, just read the manga, y'all. It's so much funnier than when
You're not moving on.
Violin, as the name suggests, is a violin aficionado. But, as we quickly learn, she's also a violence aficionado. Props to Nakamura-san for making a play on words that works in Japanese and English. Every time she sees violence, she says molto violento, which might be a music term. I believe it makes more sense in Japanese, but I can't fault the fan translation for trying. She apparently became obsessed with violence after accidentally watching Resident Evil as an 8-year-old. Resident Evil was a decent movie, but in all honesty, it would have been even funnier.
Stay on topic.
My bad. Rin takes Rentarou to an arcade and quickly becomes enamored with all the violence from whack-a-mole, punching machines, and RE Biohazard. Okay, Resident Evil makes a bit more sense. Okay, I get it. I'll move on. Rin gets freaked out when she accidentally reveals her violent desires. But Rentarou, the Chad that he is...
Don't call him a Chad.
But he is!
You're too horny, bro.
And you're complaining about me wasting time? Rentarou reassures Rin that as long as it's not causing real problems or actually hurting anybody, there's nothing wrong with enjoying something wholeheartedly. And with that, she's in the family. I'm placing her near the bottom of B tier. Honestly, at this point, I'm mostly rating on quirks, and I could take it or leave it with this one. She also has really strong compatibility with Iku for obvious reasons, which I appreciate.
2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees.
On chapter 123, we get introduced to the girlfriend with, currently, the most specific quirk. Sue is in love with numbers. I don't mean love as in she's good at counting or whatever. I mean romantically. She wants to fuck the numbers. In her mind, it's the same as people falling for those of the opposite or same sex, except this one is a bit more abstract. What's even more odd, pun intended, is that despite her love of numbers, she hates math as a concept because it, quote, dehumanizes numbers and turns them into things to be thrown away for calculations. Her name Hifume actually... What the fuck?
You said hit me.
No, I said Hifume.
Oh shit, my bad, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, speaking of numbers, nice. And you ruined it. He is one of the words for one, fu for two, and me for three. Sue means number, so her name literally translated is 123 number. I just want you to imagine someone coming up to you and like, hi, my name is 123 number. Like, what were her parents thinking when they named her that? Did they know she wanted to fuck numbers? And of course, she's introduced in chapter 123 because the author knows what he's doing despite making a 12-year-old cousin. Oh my god, I just remembered that he did that. Why did he do that? Oh my god. Because of Sue's incessant love of numbers, she gives Rentarou the cold shoulder initially. I'm wired to love numbers. It's outright impossible for me to love you. So, Chadtaro.
Stop calling him a Chad.
But he is.
He is 15.
So? Oh, fuck! Why do you have that?
No more teenage lust.
Okay, jeez. So, Rentarou gives Sue exactly what she wants. He becomes numbers. Detroit become number. I am become number, destroyer of maths. So in the middle of this high school hallway, he does this interpretive dance in a full spandex suit and acts out the numbers 0 through 9, which totally grabs her. However, she's not totally convinced because no single human can become 10. What the fuck does this mean? Apparently, Sue not only loves numbers, but wants to become numbers. Detroit become... I already did that joke. But through her practice, she found, to her immense disappointment, that she couldn't become 10 on her own. So when Rentarou reveals that together they could make 10, 11, 12, or all the way up to, God forbid, 99, Sue is all in. This fetish is truly bizarre, and I've seen some weird ones. Trust me. I'm putting Sue at the top of C tier. It's a fun and interesting quirk, but I have a feeling that she only loves Rentarou when he's numbers. Of course, I also want to mention how Akko really comes in clutch for Sue. Because Sue is obsessed with numbers, she doesn't remember any of the girlfriend's names after being introduced. This frustrates Sue, as she really wants to integrate with the rest of the family, so Akko comes up with a system of assigning numbers to each girlfriend. 19 Iku, 333 me, 88 hahari, etc. It's just a really smart way to memorize things, and proves why Akko is the best girl. We're almost done, I swear. We have another strong girlfriend with the introduction of Era. She's half Brazilian and half Japanese, and she's trained in the martial art of capoeira, which is also basically her name. It's also been a while since I've said this, but oh my lord is she hot. She's 20, alright? It's chill. Her strength is unparalleled against anything she can take out with a physical attack. People and even cars don't scare her in the slightest. The flip side, and this is the fun part, is that she's deathly afraid of anything she can't take out with a physical attack. Ladybugs, terrified. Cats, terrified. A baby, a cold, allergies, chemical weapons. Wait, did someone say chemical weapons? Lightning, darkness, and heartbreak, absolutely shaking in her one-legged pants. And I love her for it. Every time she's scared, she does this move, and I crack up every time because it looks like a fucking Dodge animation. Rentarou convinces Era to join the family by kissing her and promising to learn special attacks in order to kick goodbyes, a true Doctor Strange type. That's why he's the GOAT. Fuck. I'm putting Era in B tier. She's got a winning personality, and physically, she's pretty... That's pretty much it for my justification, to be honest.
Pussycat, I love you.
Wait. All right, listen. If you've made it all the way here, you've probably also seen my previous video, which I posted a year and a half ago. Fuck, I gotta be more consistent. In my previous video, I came out as a furry. But if you didn't see that previous video, then I guess, surprise. It should be painfully obvious why I fuck with this girlfriend hard, even if my cat girl of choice typically has more fur. Rentarou, naturally, is a little more hesitant. I mean, the man is sweating. Tama explains that she used to work in a 9-to-5 office job, but every day was, quote, like a fresh new hell awaiting for me. I'm sorry, the cat speak throws me off. Believing that she could maybe be a cat in her next life, she nearly throws herself in front of a train. Jesus, Nakamura-san, this is darker than you've even gone before. But reasoning that she'd probably be unlucky and still be a human, she decided to become a cat in her current life. Due to her lack of job, she quickly runs out of money, which brings us to the present, where she's looking for someone to adopt her. She's so committed to the cat lifestyle that she's willing to die before she returns to humanity again. Give me felinity or give me death. So, Rentarou agrees to adopt her. Man, I wish someone could adopt me. Tama realizes that Rentarou probably can't afford to adopt her, so she reluctantly agrees to find part-time work and to become his pet and girlfriend. I gotta say, kissing your pet like that is kind of weird. Until CRISPR gene editing makes catgirls real, this is the next best thing. It's perfect for someone like me. They look like a cat, but they're not actually a cat, so it's not literally a crime. S tier she remains.
Got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me.
And that's it. What a perfect way to end, am I right? So in conclusion... Wait, there's one more?
Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding?
Okay, so in the time it took me to make this video, a new girlfriend dropped. We don't know much about this girl yet, since at the time of filming, the only chapter of her is the introduction. But she's an up-and-coming idol named Kiki. She looks like a rip of Oshinoko's Akane, which is another great anime and manga that you should check out. She even has the star eyes, bro. Her quirk is that she tries to be quirky and eccentric so she can be seen as an abnormal genius talent instead of a typical genius talent, but comes off looking incredibly clumsy and inept instead. We're talking using chopsticks upside down levels of quirkiness, holds up spork levels of quirkiness. So naturally, when Rentarou mentions that he already has 25 girlfriends, Kiki instantly joins up. I'm excited to see where this one goes. I don't think I can fairly rate it yet because there's only been one chapter, but I figured I'd add it to the video anyway because what's one more, right? I mean, it's not like this video is an hour long. I need a new hobby. So, 150 chapters in, where do we stand? 26 beautiful girlfriends, and 74 more to go. This manga is doing a fantastic job of juggling these girlfriends and their incredibly specific quirks. What makes this manga so special to me is not the characters themselves, but how they interact with each other. Which makes it all the more weird that I just spent an hour talking about the characters themselves. Why did I do that? As the manga has progressed, more and more chapters have come up where girlfriends are put into groups of 3 or 4 to see how they interact with each other. And Rentarou, of course. They've even turned it into a small joke with a phrase that often appears at the bottom of the first page. Unfortunately, the rest of the family was either busy or had other things come up. The gaps between girlfriend introductions have been getting longer and longer as well. going from 4 to 5 chapters between each girlfriend to 8 or 9. Even the introduction of the new girlfriend to the rest of the family takes 2 chapters now instead of 1. Essentially, it'll be years before they finish this manga. But that's okay. Nakamura-san and Nozawa-san have expressed an interest in taking this premise all the way. I can't wait to see what other crazy-ass girlfriends they come up with. Hopefully not too many more of them are under the age of 14. Anyway, in conclusion, Rentarou is a Chad and I love him. If only I could be one of his girlfriends. If only I could meet him in person.
Rentarou is not real. Grow up.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Wait. If he visited the illustrator's house, then that must mean he is real, right?
That was a joke.
I gotta see him.
Well, he'd be in Japan.
I already got my ticket. So I went to the land where weebs pilgrimage and bask in the culture, Nippon. Sabia went with me in order to keep me in line. And sure, maybe we had fun, culturally enriching ourselves with food and activities in a place that we might never go again. But I had a goal above all else. I want to meet the man behind the curtain. No, not Nozawa-san or Nakamura-san, the love god himself. Wait, not the love god, but the love... Look, it's Rentarou I want to meet. I searched everywhere. The streets, the alleys, the stations, the trains. My god, did I ride those trains. The markets. I tried going to locations in the manga, karaoke bars, batting cages, light shows, arcades, even onsens, which I can't really film for obvious reasons. I went to Kyoto.
Yo, is he here or what?
I think we're in the wrong city.
I went to Osaka.
Is he there?
I think we're in the wrong city again.
I went to the Imperial Palace to see if Rentarou was already in talks with the Prime Minister to make polygamy legal.
Do you think Rentarou's in there?
I searched the highest mountains.
I don't think he's here.
I went to the depths of the sea. All this wonderful and incredibly convenient cross-country public transportation was exhausting. 2 incredibly life-changing weeks passed. And all we found were traces of Rentarou's family. A billboard here, some manga there. We even caught the anime premiere.
Sabio. Oh, look it. There he is.
He likes her.
But so what? Could this trip be any more of a waste of time? I felt like Taki at the end of the wonderful anime film Your Name. No matter where I looked, it seemed like I was never fated to meet. Not knowing how to read or speak beyond basic level Japanese certainly didn't help either. But that's when I realized, even if I did know Japanese, or found him in a sea of people, there is no way he would be okay with me making a video systematically ranking his girlfriends from worst to best. He's killed people for less. My search to become Rentarou's soulmate was flawed from the start. But maybe I was looking for my soulmate in the wrong place. You know, seeing his eyes for the first time, that's when it really hit me. Maybe I never wanted to go to Japan to find a soulmate. Maybe the entire time, I was trying to find myself. You know, life isn't like a manga or an anime. There's no soulmate that's gonna come in, whisk you off your feet, and fix all your problems. You have to fix them yourself. So that's what I'll do. And maybe one day, I'll find a soulmate without the zing. Nonchalantly walk past them on the stairs, and just maybe, we'll both turn and ask,
君の名前は?
I'm sorry, I got carried away again. Like I said, life isn't an anime.
二人の間通り過ぎた風はどこから寂しさを運んできたの?
So you're really just gonna stay in Japan until they find you, huh?
As long as I keep moving from city to city, immigration control doesn't have a chance. How's the video?
It's finally done.
How long is it?
It's about an hour.
Wait, didn't you limit yourself to like 2 minutes per girlfriend? That doesn't add up.
It's a couple went over. It's no big deal.
How many?
Well, I mean, you already bonked me for Akko, so that just leaves Mei, Natty, Yamame, Yaku, Kishika, Momohasu, and Tama. Why?
Sounds like you're missing 8 bonks.
Well, the video's done. I mean, what are you gonna do? Bonk me from Japan?
I already bought my ticket.
Just to make it more thematic. Thanks for watching.